Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to our Start Sit show, Flex Friday. We are in the building, so hopefully you are either joining new or joining from last week. If you have been to the channel before, basically we are going to give you some flex options, QB streamers, tight end streamers, DST streamers, kicker streamers. Basically, our rule is no one starting over 50%. And for the streamers, a lot of it's still like owned under 50% as well. Sometimes some of the QBs get a little fishy, but definitely no higher than 50% starting QBs. But I got Andy here. So Andy, thanks for joining me, my man. And I'm stoked to get into it today. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Thanks for having me. This Halloween edition of Dynasty Drip.
Halloween edition. I was super bummed that I wasn't able to pick Mark Andrews as my tight end streamer because I did have him as like you got to start this dude for a different video. I was getting joshed in our Discord, posted the screenshot of the video that said like best playoff schedules. Immediately someone responds and goes, Mark Andrews, ? And then after he scores his second touchdown yesterday, Thomas goes, Mark Andrews. Just like, yep, exactly, my man. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to go over some flex options, and Andy's going to get us kicked off with the little engine that could. Little Trey Tucker starting the show off.
Little Trey Tucker. You know, he's coming off a bye, and some part of me hates putting like any hope or faith into this Raiders passing offense, but Tucker, I don't know if like a diamond in the rough is the right answer, but like a lesser gemstone in the rough for them. So as you can see there were 3 games where he hasn't been very good. And then there's been 3 games where he's been fairly solid. And then obviously the one monster game where he just went off in garbage time with 3 touchdowns. The Raiders playing the Jags this week at home, who have a good defense, but still allow the 10th most points to opposing wide receivers. So I think the Jags will pick off Geno Smith at least once, maybe twice. And they'll get their points that way, but that doesn't mean that Trey Tucker also won't get points. If you compare him to Jacoby Myers, they've got about equal in target share. It just seems like Trey Tucker has done a little bit more with them. Maybe he's getting some of the easier looks. So I think this week against this defense, he's somebody you can throw back in your flex spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like Trey Tucker is what Trey Tucker is. I think his like game graph is like he's involved. He has the snap share. He has the targets. It's just kind of like what or how much is Geno Smith going to screw us over this week? And like, can he like complete a pass this week, or can he like only complete passes to the other team? I'm also curious to see like what changes with Bowers fully healthy. Like maybe I think it's only going to help. I don't tend to be one of those people that thinks like good players hurts the offense. It's like they're going to score more points, have the ball longer, more touchdown opportunities.
The defense should be keying more in on Brock Bowers, which should leave some easier matchups for Trey Tucker. Not that I don't think he's getting, blanket coverage already, but it should only make things a little bit easier for him.
I love to see him. We're already getting some comments, so we'll get into these. And just if you guys are new to the show this week or last week, basically our schedule is what we do is we go over all of our options, flex and streamers and stuff, and we will just kind of bounce back and forth between ours and the comments we're getting. So JF Golfs, thanks for coming, dude. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't. What I like to say is that is our price and cost for answering your questions. But hey, guys, did I win this trade? I traded Dobbins, Keenan Allen, Adams, Pitts, and Tez Johnson. So, I mean, there's a lot of pieces. Okay. For Amon-Ra, Shakir, Kraft. My RB room is tight now. I have Bam Knight, Woody Marks, and Bucky coming back. So I'm going to assume also that this is redraft unless you tell us it's Dynasty, JF. But my wide receivers now are Amon-Ra, Shakir, Ladd. So he gets better at tight end, better at wide receiver, gives up
an RB.
Yeah.
I think, you give up a lot of depth and some solid players for a couple of like difference makers
I'm doing this.
So,
I'm
definitely
Kraft and Amon-Ra, Shakir, whatever. Shakir for Keenan Allen isn't like that's close-ish. I would probably lean Allen, but I don't think it matters. So you upgraded from Adams and Pitts to Kraft and Amon-Ra for Dobbins. That's how I'm viewing it.
Yeah.
That's nasty. That's good.
I like that.
That's a great trade.
Coming out here flexing on us.
Yeah, that's a great trade. Also, to follow up here, should I start Emmanuel Wilson or Washington on Jags? So this is a deep league, or your team is very injured. I like it.
That's tough.
I like it.
I mean, I keep monitoring Josh Jacobs' calf. Obviously, it seems like he's just going to keep playing through it. Well, I think Wilson will get some opportunities. The Carolina run defense has actually been pretty solid. So I really see Emmanuel Wilson getting in there if the Packers go up by a bunch. So I think I would almost lean Washington because the Raiders' pass defense is pretty terrible. Yeah, 14, man, that is tough.
Yeah. Well, also, too, I definitely think, I mean, even keep in mind, too, like, 2 hours ago, Travis Hunter on IR. I think Parker Washington. I mean, he's looked pretty good, and you would assume his targets will go up with no Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
So I think you could do worse than him. We got our boy T. Masman in here. He is from the Dynasty Drip. He's from the Dynasty Drip League. We appreciate you joining, man. But yeah, 14-team league. That's fun, man. But that's what's kind of fun about 14-team leagues. Like, if you ask me, like, having to play some of those guys, like, I've had to play. I remember my 16-team Dynasty League last year, I had to ride the wave of, like, Westbrook Akine for 8 weeks. And he just happened to score, like, 6 touchdowns. And it was, like, the greatest thing that had ever happened. Because you're looking at your bench when your starter goes down, and you're like, do I play Tyquan Thornton or do I play – and that's kind of the choices you are given.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to move on to my first streamer of the weekend. I mean, I think – dude, this is to me like a smash start here. Like, it's probably going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a close game. Kareem Hunt just under 50% started. Wouldn't be surprised to see that number creep up to like 55, 60% by like Sunday morning, I would say, as people get the news. Pacheco like not playing at all instead of just like waivers ran, he's banged up kind of vibe. And I mean, Kareem Hunt's just like, you can see right here, like even with Pacheco in the game, 40% snap share last week. So expect that to be 40, like I'd say probably like 60%. I think Brashard Smith is like an interesting deeper play, but it's Kareem Hunt over Smith all day because of the red zone work. And like, he's been scoring touchdowns like as a third of this running back room, let alone if he's going to be 50 to 60% of it.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, playing the Bills too, great matchup for running backs, 5th in terms of points allowed, 30th DVOA. And like you said, I think Brashard will get some snaps, but I feel like they're going to be leaning on their veteran guys because this is such a high-stakes AFC matchup. Like, I think it's going to could determine a lot for playoff seeding, for, you know, all sorts of postseason things. And I think they trust Hunt more in that role than a rookie at this point, plus the goal line work. So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Hunt's been good. Like, yeah, he's not explosive, but he gives them, like, what they want. Like, they want a power guy who can get short yardage plays. So I love it. Just to put a tail on this one, he goes, everyone in the chat thinks that was a collusion trade. I mean, look, we're with you, man. I've seen trades like that go through. You make a trade. Sometimes people get really, really desperate. Do you think I should try and turn Shakir into an RB? And if so, and Maz, we will get to your question, dude. I see it here, and I saw it in our Discord too. I was just hitting live, so I could not respond. I just want you to know you are not being ignored. We're going to put a tail on JF Golfs here. And Golfs, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't, dude. I mean, yes, first off, turn Shakir into an RB. Who can you turn him into? Like, I mean, I guess I'd probably try to, like, buy low on someone because, like, I don't really think you can aim too high with a guy like Khalil Shakir, but like, could you maybe get someone who just wants to like dump Krosky Merritt because he's been terrible? Like, I don't know, something like that maybe. Like, I don't really know. What do you think, Andy? Like, what's like a realistic target for Shakir? Like,
I think those are the guys that you're going after. I mean, probably be too tough to get like a Rico Dowdle now, but sounds like he's going to be more the main guy in Carolina, just in case the other manager doesn't know that and thinks it's still going to be 50-50 snap share. But yeah, I don't think there's like a super hot market for Khalil Shakir. So
yeah, I'm pulling up a tool I really like to use. If you guys ever, I don't know if you ever use this, but it's something I like to take a peek at. Is CBS has a really awesome thing. It comes out on Wednesdays, just called, one of their guys, Dave Richard, does it. It's called just his trade value chart. Basically, it's just like a redraft idea of like how he's valuing guys for the rest of the season. I don't necessarily like take it as a Bible, but I do think it's good to like put some of these redraft trades like into perspective. So it's valuing Shakir as like a 7.5, depending on format of your league. And like a 7.5 would be a Krosky Merritt's a 7, Zach Charbonnet. I think that'd be a good one. Like a Charbonnet, Jordan Mason, Tyrone Tracy, maybe buy low on Trey Benson. I think that'd be a good one. Try to pick up an injured Trey Benson before he comes back, maybe. But hopefully that helps, JF, dude. We appreciate you coming in. Here's a question, T-Maz. This is a dynasty question, but if this was a good question, man, I definitely I wanted to respond. I just had so much to do. I'm curious what you think Neighbors' value is. Dynasty 10-man depth, less valuable. Superflex, tight end premium. I got offered 3 firsts for him. Neighbors for 1-1 plus what would make you sell him? I mean, without knowing your team, Maz, I think my immediate reaction is, unless Neighbors is like literally the only good player you have, I would just say don't trade him. But without, like, if you have like only Neighbors, then I understand why you would want to trade him. But I would be a little tentative to assume the pick you're getting is 1-1 unless like the team is that bad. But I mean, I would definitely need at least 3 firsts. Like, I wouldn't even listen to an offer with any less than that. Like,
yeah, or like 1-1 and another good young wide receiver. But
yeah, I mean, like 1-1 and a Garrett Wilson, Lad McConkey. Like, it's someone that's still like a top 14 guy. I'm not moving him for, and I probably just wouldn't move him. I don't know, without knowing your team. Like, my blanket advice would be is just like, don't trade guys that are this good unless your team is like that bad and you like have to. But I mean,
with the only other rebuilding being like, if you are a contending team who lost Neighbors, you can go out and go win a championship this year, because that point, you're probably not looking for first.
Neighbors for Neighbors for JSN. You're like, dude, JSN's balling. I need him. Boom. Like, Neighbors for CeeDee Lamb, Neighbors for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think Rebuilder, I don't think I'd move him. You're not getting points from him.
He's a guy that
he's not helping. He's the dream. He's a rebuilding team's dream. Like, he is a top 12 dynasty asset, and he's not scoring points for you. Like, that's kind of the dream. I don't want him to get hurt, to be clear. But so moving into Andy's guy, I was stoked when I saw this on Andy's list, because have we returned to a Quentin Johnson week? Like, have we come back to it? Is he was the first month of the season like a fever dream? I think that's kind of the question everyone's asking themselves.
I feel like it is part fever dream. Like, I don't think, he's going to finish the year as a top 12 wide receiver. I don't even know if he's going to finish the year as a top 24 wide receiver, but I think he will have some spike weeks. Obviously goose egg last week, so this is probably a real tough start to swallow if he's on your roster and you started him last week. But, I think it could be one where he scores a bunch of points. He's got a great matchup next week and an okay one the one after that. Maybe you can try and trade him if somebody else is into him, or just hope that his hands stay hot. He keeps not dropping balls. But especially after the breakout of Arondé Gadsden, this offense feels a lot like the Packers offense, where they're going to score a lot of points, they're going to pass for a lot of yards, and it's going to be really tough, who is going to get those points in any given week. So I think this week could be a QJ week, though. This is going up against the Titans, who are third worst DVOA versus the deep ball. QJ is kind of their deep ball threat, and he only really needs one big catch to score a bunch of points. I also would hope that after having 0 targets and just doing a little bit of cardio out there, that they maybe draw a play or two up specifically for him and actually try and get him at least a little involved. So that would be my hope. I'd probably be starting the other Chargers wide receivers over him, but I think that big playability is still worth the start because he could easily boom for 20 and then you're stoked.
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those guys that falls into that category. Like, if you've been playing fantasy as long as we have, the Deshaun Jackson, like it's what he is, man. Like, he has that big playability, and like, you're taking risks by playing him, but we also know there's huge, like absolutely huge upside. And yeah, dude, mimicking, I am a Titans fan. Dude, I saw Alec Pierce like moss their cornerback last week. Like I was trying to guard him. It was like the most pathetic thing I've seen in a very long time. And you can definitely do anything you want against the Tennessee Titans. It just kind of depends, like you're saying, is like, are they going to try to give him the ball, or are they just like not care? Because they have so many ways they can throw the ball that it's like, it kind of just depends on like who's like texting Justin Herbert things about his girlfriend and then not getting the ball the next week. Like, that's kind of what it seems is happening, where it's like maybe QJ liked a Madison Beer picture, and Herbert's like, buddy, 0 targets. Well, I don't like it, but yeah, it's there, dude. And also, something I like about QJ, and I mean, obviously, this has nothing to do with his Week 9 thing. I'm staring at Week 16 at Dallas. That could be a league winning or league losing start sit right there. QJ Week 16 at Dallas.
There's a good chance he's back for the playoff push for Flex Friday for that week.
You're gonna put him in there.
Yeah. Also, one more thing about him: the Titans, though being really bad against wide receivers, actually pretty good against the tight end. Both in terms of DVOA and fantasy points against. So I'm not saying bench Oronde Gadsden, but it might make it a little bit easier for Quentin Johnson to get some targets if Gadsden is more covered.
So we got a little follow-up here from Maz. Team is stacked. Daniels, Dak, Tua, Hampton, Judkins, Brown, Krosky, Neighbors, BTJ, Nico, Ricky, McBride. Dude, I'm just holding him. I think you had bad luck in Hampton and Neighbors going down. I think you run this same team out there next year and you're competing for a bye. Like, I don't see any reason. Like, Daniels, Dak, Hampton, Judkins, Neighbors, BTJ, Nico, and McBride. Like, that's a top 3 team in a dynasty league. You just got unfortunate that a couple of these guys got hurt. Daniels, Hampton, and Neighbors just missing games. And that's why you're the 7th seed. I have this exact team basically in another league. Like, you down Lamar, Burrow, Neighbors, and Bowers, and all of a sudden you're like, my team, what was like, looked amazing. Like, you now find yourself at 4-4, and like, it just happens. With Swift out, I'm wondering if I should just stick it out with Tracy or pick up Bam Knight or Charb off waivers. Jay, I feel like you were here last week, Jay. If I am recognizing your name, nice to have you back. If not, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I think I'd go Tracy. I think Tracy should be fine. Like, if he's getting a higher percentage of the touches, like, he's not a bad player. Scadaboo is just awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, Tracy looked good last year, not great, but it seems like if he's going to be the number 1 guy, with Bam, maybe, but I feel like, some other guys are still going to mix in. Sharp, obviously Kenneth Walker's still there. So I think those guys are a little riskier plays where Tracy is going to get the volume. So. Yeah, I mean, and I don't hate playing Bam. Like, I'm playing him in a league. He's got a good matchup. I think the thing with, like, why I lean, like, Tracy over him would be Bam's, like, in one of those situations where he's one stupid decision away from getting benched, where I don't really think Tracy's going to get benched. Like, and maybe that's just like a weird way to think about it, but team with Tracy would be for a 10-team full PPR. Yeah, I'm going Tracy, man. I think if Tracy, either you've been holding him or you used your waiver or your fab to go get him, and I would just use him. I think that's why you got him. Jay Hang 2055, appreciate you coming, man. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe. Hi, start 2, Bam, Woody, Henderson, Manungai. So we'll get into that one in 2 seconds. Actually, we'll just go into it. Andy, I'm going to let you do your next flex one. We were going to talk about Manungai as one of our potential flex options here.
So let's just kill two birds with one stone and let Andy go over Monungai as one of his picks for the week.
Yeah, perfect. Well, at the time that I wrote this, Swift hadn't practiced yet this week with a groin, and it looked like he might sit out, still a little bit up in the air. Now he is out. So Monungai 100%. I mean, I look at him versus this defense as like a low-end one, high-end RB2. Like, find a way to get him in your lineup. Since he has allowed the most points to running backs this season, they might also be without Trey Hendrickson on the back end. Joe Flacco is banged up, so we'll see how well their offense can get it together. So especially if the Bears pull ahead, I think a lot of Monungai on the ground could be seen. And Monungai's proven that he could play, just against New Orleans, 13 carries, 81 yards, a touchdown, looked really good. The Bears offensive line is a really solid unit, and the Cincy defensive line is a very poor unit. So they should be able to get a good push, get him really good looks, and get him some decent volume. So I think he is a phenomenal start this week. So
yeah, mimic everything you said with Monungai there. Like, out of this one, he's definitely the one that sticks out as like my favorite start of this group of four. Yeah. Look, I don't know if he's some like league winner or whatever, but I think he's a good player with an amazing matchup. I mean, you could have played Isaiah Davis and Breece Hall last week going up against Cincy, let alone like just the starter. Like, both of those players were playable. And the Jets are arguably like the worst team in the league, and they put up those numbers. Like, I would imagine Monungai is going to have a really good game. And then I think for me, like, if I had to pick one more with Ramondre Stevenson out, I'm going to play Travion Henderson and just cross my fingers that he's as good as we think he could be. I don't like. Yeah. I think Bam and Woody are what they are. I think they're like low-end RB2 flex plays, and you're hoping they score a touchdown so that they make up for it. But I don't know where you're leaning for the second one here, Andy.
No, I think that's the right call. Just, ride the rookies of Henderson and Monungai. I think, Woody could be kind of interesting, but Broncos are a good defense. Even though they're better against the pass than they are against the run, they're still pretty good against the run. So I would go Henderson and Monungai.
So now we're going to go back to my second Flex Friday one here. And part of this, dude, I'm hoping that Purdy plays, because I think some people have forgotten, like, Jennings and Purdy have a pretty solid connection between each other. And I think for that reason, Jennings could potentially be being like understarted, because it seems that probably no Pearsall. Like, he hasn't really practiced. I don't think they are assuming he's going to play. I think they really messed up by not putting him like on IR. I'm assuming it was worse than they thought. He's been out for like over a month easily.
Yeah.
And Jennings is like a pretty solid player. I mean, it's hard to pull the numbers from the last couple of games because they've been with Mac Jones, but 7 targets in back-to-back games. Obviously, he had some massive spike weeks last year with Brock Purdy. But in general, I mean, he should be involved, and the Giants are a great matchup for a passing attack. So between those couple things, like, that's enough for me that I think Jennings belongs in your lineup this week.
Yeah, and another thing, too, is, you see he's missed a few games this year. Last week was the first time he had practiced in full for an entire week before a game, and he led the team in targets and in yards, only 45 yards, which is a little sad for leading the team. But, they're playing against the Houston Texans defense, who are a top defense in the NFL, going up against the Giants this week. Another week out from all the injuries. I mean, it was like a shoulder, an ankle, a knee.
Yes, on the screen, dude. Ankle, rib, shoulder.
Yeah, crazy. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Just everything was broken. But I think he's finally getting healthy. And, like you said, when Debo and Ayuk were both out last year, he had some absolutely massive games. So he's proven that he can do it. So I think this is going to be a solid performance from him.
I love this, man. This is like ankle, rib, shoulder. That's like me if I go on like a run. You're just like, it's me if I go play pickup football with my friends. Like, this old man.
Me the night before.
Dude, this is me on a bad mattress, dude. If I sleep on a bad mattress, I wake up ankle, rib, shoulder. So now we're going to move. Ooh, okay. So you already did your 3 because we went out of order there. So my last one of the week, my last flex play before we get into some of the streamers here, and then Jay, we'll get to your question next, dude. I'm going to go Josh Downs, and this one could be a low volume play. I think Josh Downs kind of has some of those weeks where he's pretty good, and he has some where he's a little less involved, but it's a very potent offense. We know that. And Pittsburgh isn't a scary matchup like you would think they should be when it comes to like NFL defenses, like what we assume the Pittsburgh Steelers are, has not been true. They've basically been getting shredded, especially through the air. I mean, look at last week against the Packers, like they picked them apart. And Josh Downs is one of those guys where it's like, I think I'm going to put him in there and hope he kind of has one of his games. He scored touchdowns in back-to-back starts. He didn't play week 7. So I'm not going to say back-to-back weeks, but I think he's building some sort of connection with Daniel Jones, and he's just a good player. He's going to be open. For a flex player, I think you could do a lot worse. I mean, there's some guys and teams on bye this week, so I think you're just having to look a little deeper in some leagues, you know. Let's say you had Travis Hunter. You've been depending on some of the Philly wide receivers, stuff like that. He's a guy I think you might have to put in your lineup this week, and I feel good about it. He's going to be involved, and the Colts are going to put some points up. You're just going to hope they go Downs his way.
Yeah, for sure. That steel curtain is looking pretty rusty this season. They also had another injury in their secondary versus the Packers. One of their safeties is on IR. They made a trade for Kyle Duggar, the New England safety, but he was playing kind of rotationally despite signing a big contract. So I don't think he's like a massive upgrade for their secondary. So yeah, I think they're going to continue to struggle versus the pass, and Josh Downs could definitely see a big game from that.
So Jay here hitting us with a question. Who do we value higher rest of season, Tyler Warren or Tucker Kraft? I mean, I'll go first, Danny, but you think about it. I'm still going to lean Tyler Warren. I just think he's a bigger piece of that offense, and as good as I think Tucker Kraft is, like, he's going to come and go. I think some of the receivers are going to have those games. Keep in mind, like, Josh Jacobs was a little banged up during that massive Kraft game. But, I mean, Kraft is just an absolute monster, and they do kind of have similar roles. I think right now, like, if you're asking me that question after last week, where Jonathan Taylor scored like 75% of the touchdowns and Kraft had a monster game, I think it's tricking us a little bit, where I could see some TDs like maybe going away from Jonathan Taylor a little bit. Obviously, he's still going to absolutely dominate. I'm not saying like sell Jonathan Taylor, but like he's had like 12 touchdowns in like, 70% of their games. Like he's just scoring at a crazy rate. Some of those could start to go Warren, and I think he's just a bigger piece of the offense, but it's slight. It's very slight, I think, for me.
Yeah, I think Warren is a little safer because in a way he and Pittman are like the 1A, 1B reads, whereas you can make that same argument for Kraft, but there's so many wide receivers on the Packers. Christian Watson just came back for the first time last week. Jaden Reed will be back at some point this season, so the ball will be spread around, but he is an absolute dog. So I think it's kind of either or. I think if you have either one of these guys, you're stoked you're starting them. I'm lucky enough, I've got both of them in a dynasty league. It's one tight end, non-tight end premium, and I've been rolling both of them out. Just 12 personnel every week, because it's like I can't decide who to play, and they're better than some of my bench guys because it is a deep league.
I mean, definitely if you have both of these guys, Jay, I mean, either trade one, or if you have to flex one, I don't hate it. I think they both have enough weekly upside that like it's not the craziest idea in general. So now we're going to move on to some of our streamers. Andy's going with old man Ayahuasca Rogers.
That's right, man. Old man Rogers. It was so weird seeing him in those old dorky Pittsburgh uniforms playing against the Packers. Super surreal. Probably a bit of an emotional loss for him going against his old team. I think he's going to bounce back with a vengeance. That's just, the kind of guy that he is. And he played well that game. Just the Packers played a little bit better. And he doesn't have a lot of receiving help. There's a chance they get somebody right before the trade deadline. I've seen a bunch of rumors floating around for like Jacoby Myers. But at this point, it's George Pickens and Arthur Smith's quadrant of tight ends. But for this game, that is honestly fantastic because the Colts are allowed the third most points to tight ends, are 31st DVOA versus the position. So you don't need wide receivers to get points against the Colts. You just need 300-pound Darnell Washington in the slot catching fade balls. And this is like Arthur Smith's dream matchup where they're weak against the tight end, and that's the offense that he wants to run. So I think Rodgers is going to come out. He's going to be hot after that last game, and he's going to be wanting to throw some touchdowns to a lot of big boys.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to score some points against Indy. And like you said, like he's had 3 good games. Like it's not pretty. It may not be the Aaron Rodgers like we once thought we were watching. Obviously, all of those things. But like he's not playing poorly. I mean, as you can see, like on the screen here, it's going back to week 3. I only have it back to week 3 here. But like if you got any of those 5 outcomes of his last 5 games as a streaming quarterback, I think you take that. He's the 14th QB. Like, that's what you're getting. You're not expecting QB1 here out of Aaron Rodgers. You're expecting a guy to get you 2 touchdowns, maybe 200 yards, and let your other players win your week. And they're running all the tight ends out there. Every tight end. They want absolutely all of them. So, Sergio, welcome to the channel, dude. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe as we get going. Swift got ruled out. My RB room is so bad. Who do I pick up? Chubb, Carter, that is bad. Okay.
Rough.
Play this. I'm gonna Patriots.
I mean, I'm leaning Chubb because I feel like he and Woody are still splitting time. I just think Woody's getting, especially for PPR, more of the receiving work.
I'm definitely between Chubb, McNichols, and Gainwell if I had to pick.
Yeah.
I don't trust Carter. He's coming on the practice squad. He kind of got benched. I don't want to play that game. I picked Algier last week. I'm not doing that two weeks in a row. That's a risky. It's just not a great matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd go Chubb and hope for a touchdown. I think Gainwell is interesting too because he at least brings some sort of upside where it's like he's gonna play. I mean, he's been getting like 30 to 40% snap share, I think, even when Warren's been back. So for me, Sergio, I'd probably go Chubb, Gainwell. And then if I had to go someone like maybe McNichols involved in the passing game, but it's not pretty.
Yeah, that's rough.
It ain't pretty.
That's rough, buddy.
DK and tight ends Pickens is on the Cowboys.
If I said Pickens,
he meant DK. Yeah.
Definitely meant DK.
Trade a wide receiver for RB if your RB1 is Swift. That's your answer. So that's Jay's solution, Sergio. If that's I think that's what he's commenting on. Yeah, maybe if you have some depth, go get someone. I mean, definitely going back if you just popped in. I'm sure he's probably taken, but if Mononga is available, go with him and Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith. I think those are 3 guys I would definitely look at picking up and at least bring some. I'd probably pick up and play Brashard Smith over all these guys that he just mentioned. It's not pretty, but I think at least there's some like rookie upside where if Pacheco's out for a bit, like maybe he takes off a little bit. But we feel for you, man. It's not a fun situation to be in.
Yep.
Andy is playing me in a week, and he played Malik Washington, and that's sometimes you got to play Malik Washington. It happens. It happens.
Team's been brutalized this year.
It happens. So for my QB streamer, I'm going Sam Darnold. I think he's right on the edge of like starter streamer, but I was kind of surprised that he's still started and rostered. I think it's because he's coming off the bye, that he's not super, super high numbers. But I mean, Seattle's been pretty good. It is at Washington. Jaden Daniels playing. So interesting. Like, I'm not super afraid of the Washington defense, though. I think they've kind of been picked apart this year a little bit. And Darnold's been pretty solid. It's a decent fantasy matchup as well. And like, there aren't that many streaming options this week. I was kind of trying to look, and like, we only really try to pick people that are under like 50, 60% rostered and definitely under 50% started for all of our players. And like, I mean, the first one I was like, oh, well, like, dude, Caleb Williams, got to start him. He's just too owned. I think if Caleb Williams is on your waiver wire, he's the guy I would go pick up and start over Darnold and Rodgers. Same. It's just a strange week for streaming, I think.
Yeah. I like Sam Darnold coming off the bye. Washington is allowed the 4th points to opposing quarterbacks, so it is a great matchup. They're around 19th DVOA versus the pass, but they're still allowing all those points, so I like running them out there. They've been really bad against wide receiver ones, at least DVOA-wise, so looking for a big game from JSN as well, and that's probably going to mean Darnold will have a pretty decent game. So,
So we're going to move on to our tight ends. We got one more question from Jay here. Pick 2 wide receivers, full PPR, Nico, London, Olave.
I haven't checked in on the London injury today.
I think he's playing. I mean, definitely Nico. Nico would be tier 1 here. Who's the Saints playing? The Rams.
Yeah, good to go for Drake London 43 minutes ago.
Dude, I think I'm going Olave. I think I'm going Olave against the Rams. They have much weaker corners. I'd be a little concerned. Like, London kind of comes and goes. And, like, if Christian Gonzalez is in him and you have Olave to play, I would lean that. But, like, I don't really think this is a bad choice. That's just, like, pulling strings. Like, yeah. I would gladly play any of these 3 players.
I think it's close, but especially full PPR, just with how many targets Chris Olave has been getting too. You know, there's a chance that, you know, London could have, you know, more yards, but he does it on like 5 or 6 catches, where Chris Olave, there's a chance he has like 10 or 11 catches because he's just getting targeted like crazy. So,
yeah, this must be, he got cleared. Yeah, this talking about London. He got cleared to play. Okay, we got Beer Burrows, BRRRONS. I like the Michael Thomas photo. that's a throwback, dude. Welcome, man. I don't know if I've seen you in here before. If you have and I missed you, my bad. But thanks for coming. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe. That is our payment for asking your question. 2 QB, 2 RB, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 3 flex.
Deep league, like it.
Allen's Lamar Jones, K1. Is there a question coming? Okay, here we go. Okay, I was just like, he has a second comment. Okay, so this is his team. He's 5-3.
Okay.
Make a move for any of these guys. Zay, Drake, Henry. I think he's just like build a trade. I think that's kind of how I'm taking this.
Okay. Is this dynasty? Is this redraft?
Yeah, is this dynasty or redraft? Bronze. I mean,
Jacobs, Javonte.
Trying to look at his team here.
Jason,
redraft.
Yeah. Redraft. Okay. Chase, Nico, Devontae. I mean, that just looks like a really stacked team.
I mean, because like really the only one you would be buying would be like buying low on someone, but I don't. If you have like Jacobs and Javonte, like, I mean, yeah, sure. Like, if I could go get like Bucky, I would like him over Javonte like a tiny bit, but I don't think that's going to be an easy trade to get done.
Yeah. No, and
I think your team's just like really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be looking to like overpay when you've got a team that is really deep and has a lot of high-end talent. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that's tough. Like, if you had a specific trade you got offered, I definitely could help you on that. I mean, in general, looking at your team, I'm not looking at it being like, so it's an 8-man PPR, which would make more sense why he's really stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't your question, but as you get down in players, basically the only thing that you could do, I guess, is if there's any way you could go attack a Jahmyr Gibbs, a Jonathan Taylor, that's probably about it. Other than that, I probably would just, I don't really know.
Yeah, some of the guys you lifted seem like more lateral moves, because if you're going to trade for Egbuka, you're going to have to give up, you know, it's like
Adams. Yeah, you're going to have to get out. Yeah.
Adams plus, like, you know, and obviously you got Trey McBride. So like Kraft, I feel like they're in the same tier. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, Jay. I think it's a coin flip between those guys. I think that one's like, I don't really see either one as a better play. That's a tough one. So we got Titan Style. Appreciate you joining, man. Make sure to hit like. If I can't get Monongai off waivers, do I start JMO or Woody Marks? Assuming Marks is healthy. I think he should be playing. I haven't heard like a lot of these injury reports are kind of rough, but I mean, I'm going Woody, dude. I'm not playing the JMO game unless I got torched by like Andrews Lamar stack on Thursday night or something. Like, I would much rather just play Woody Marks. I'm not taking the L on JMO this week. I don't think he has some sort of like matchup that I'm trying to like heavily target or something. Of course, he could have a good game, But
I think JMO's the much riskier play, which is kind of crazy, even though Marks is, kind of coming back from an injury and a little bit banged up. But yeah, I think he's definitely a safer option who could still get in the end zone. Whereas, JMO, just looking here, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games out of 7 have been under, or out of 8 have been under 5 points or around 5 points. So he's had 2 good games and all the rest of them have been duds, including a goose egg in the last game that he played.
Yeah, I don't want to play that game.
Yeah, that's tough.
So now we're going to move on to our tight end streamers. Andy kicks off Jatavian Sanders.
Yeah, I'm just going to go preface. I like your guy a lot more, but this guy's rostered in 4% of leagues, 5% of leagues now that you got. So somebody's picked him up. He hasn't done much since coming back from his injury, but it's a slower process. So I think he'll be out there a little bit more, but, let's see, where was I? But, he's playing the Packers this week, who have struggled a bit versus the tight end, allowing the 7th most points to the position. The Panthers, their game plan is run the football as much as possible. Packers, fairly decent against the run, and especially if they get ahead, they're going to have to throw. And I think Jatavian being kind of that check down option should get some play. So I hope you don't have to play Jatavian Sanders, but out of some of the guys who are probably available on your waiver wire, I think he's got a better opportunity than most.
Yeah. I mean, there's some weird guys. Dude, you could have picked up Mark Andrews potentially in multiple leagues. If you had just gotten ahead of it, and you probably played him because you had to. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. It's a desperate play if you're in a desperate situation. Sometimes we're in desperate situations. Mine here, still very low percent rostered. I just think great matchup. I think still no Cole Kmet. I'll have to double check that. As of before the stream, we hadn't got that answer. We may have an answer since we've been on the stream. Says Cole Kmet healthy, even though, Loveland at some point, he's still an athletic player. And if I'm going to be taking a big swing, I want to take it on the rookie and hope he develops into something. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. That's the same exact sentence you and I have said for Harold Fannin about 7 weeks ago. We said it for Gadsden and Mason Taylor about 5 weeks ago. It's the same thing. It's if you're going to pick a tight end up off waivers, take the guy that if he has a good game, maybe his value triples overnight. And that's not going to happen for a veteran that we know what's happening. I love TJ Hawkinson, but if TJ Hawkinson has a good game, his value isn't going to double. He's just going to be okay, TJ Hawkinson had a good game. Awesome. It's guys like Loveland. If he goes 6 for 80 and 2 touchdowns, he's now you can't trade for him ever for 10 years. This is what happens. So Jay, I've been struggling the whole year in my big money league with quarterbacks because I drafted Burrow and I've had to fly between different QBs all year. I have Saquon, Henry, Swift, Tracy, and Kamara. Here's the question. He also has Goddard and Kraft is the middle one I'm not putting up here. Do I trade Kamara and Goddard for Jaden Daniels? I just got offered that as a trade in my big money league yesterday. Let's see. So
go back to those running backs because Saquon, Henry.
Tracy. Yeah. I think you could argue Kamara's 3B, but with Swift hurt trade. Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
I got nothing against doing that. You're not going to play Goddard. And if you do have to pick up a tight end for a week because Kraft, I don't know, something happens, just pick one up. And I definitely think I guess you haven't said what QB is, but if you're saying it's been a struggle fest, that means you're in the Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, if Kyle Pitts is on waivers, you're not losing anything by trading those 2 dudes and then just picking up Kyle Pitts.
I see that as pretty much straight up Kamara for Jaden Daniels, and I would do that trade.
Yeah,
QB needy, and you have good running backs. So, for sure.
That's a good trade, man. We'd both do that. So now we're going to move on to our defenses. Andy going with the San Francisco 49ers. And I want you guys to keep in mind, we dig very deep on our defenses. We kind of pick the bottom of the waivers here.
Yeah. So, this poor poor Giants team who the San Francisco 49ers are playing this week. You lose Neighbors week 2 or 3. Think the season is over. Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo come in, light a fire. Everything's fun. You can enjoy watching Giants football. They're scoring points, and now it's Scatterbo, awful injury. So really I like Robert Saleh versus a rookie QB who is missing, the only 2 weapons that really made that offense exciting to watch. That's pretty much the whole take there.
Yeah, I mean, I had to take the Niners last week. It didn't work out. It was close. I mean, I think there were a couple plays that it could have gone their favor. For me here, this is one I think they have a little more upside. They're still slightly less roster just because they're coming off a bye. So you may be able to sneak pick them up or add them in your league, and that's going to be Jacksonville. They're a risky defense, as you can see. They've gotten ripped a couple weeks in a row in good matchups, but they've also had some pretty high turnover games. Vegas is one of those ones, if it goes in their direction and Geno starts to turn the ball over or they start to get some sacks and this game starts to lean on them a bit, Jacksonville has the upside to kind of be one of those, not league winning, but a week winner, you get 16, 17 points. So.
Yeah, I think this is the play. I would definitely play Jacksonville over the 49ers. I think this is such a phenomenal matchup. The Raiders O-line is real bad. Jacksonville can get pressure. As when they started the year, they were just absolute turnover machine. And the only bigger turnover machine was Geno Smith during those weeks, because I had him as my Flex Friday play, and he is never allowed again in my lineup for the rest of the season because it's just been absolutely terrible. So, yeah, I feel like they're going to get a couple turnovers on him. They're going to get some sacks. So, yeah, I love this play.
So we're going to move into our kickers. We got 2 more, and then we'll get your guys' questions as well. Looks like Jay, bounced between Kyler, Fields, Goff. Dropped Goff. He got picked up. Yeah, it happens, man. I think that and Marvin Lewis, the coach.
Hey.
Thanks for coming in, Marvin. Make sure to hit subscribe. Can someone tell me why Bam Knight projection is so low against the Cowboys defense? I think for me, I'm playing Bam Knight. I do think it's a good matchup, and he's an okay player. I just think, he's not one of those guys that couldn't potentially get benched for fumbling. And, projections to me don't mean anything. So, I don't build the projections. That's probably what it is projections tend to not overdo backups if they don't know the split. But a projection doesn't.
Yeah. And I'd still feel somewhat comfortable starting Bam Knight. I'm not excited to put him in my lineup.
No.
But he's not somebody that I'm, I think if I was debating between him and Trey Tucker, I'd probably lean Bam Knight. I think he's, a little bit more stable, but some of the other guys we talked about, I would start over Bam Knight. So.
Yeah, I'm starting my non-guy 10 out of 10 times over Bam Knight.
Same with Hunt.
But yeah, I'm with you. I get it is potentially a tasty matchup, and there is some upside if he happens to be the one to get the work. Here's Jay chiming in. Yeah, exactly. There's a little unknowns, I think. But Andy, go over your kicker streamer for the week. Andy Borigalis. Looking good in his profile pic too, man. I gotta say, he's killing it.
Suave guy. I'm just letting it ride. He kicked well last week when he was my guy. We've got the same name, so that's my in-depth kicker analysis for you.
Yeah, we just go low kickers here. Going Cairo Santos. He missed some games, but he has double-digit points in the last 2 games he's played. Should be a high-scoring game against Cincy. I'm not going to say I know what's going to happen here, and I've been pretty terrible at my low rostered kicker performances here. We should just start picking ones that you actually should play instead of the ones I'm saying. But as we get into the second part of the show here, we are going to go over our picks from last week. So if you guys are here, my 7th grade team, my coach can play defense better than the Cowboys. I'd like to see that, but it's possible, dude. They ain't a good defense.
That's for sure.
So those are our picks from last week. I got smoked on my streamer part. Wide receiver 1, Troy Franklin, though. I got to say, I was stoked about that. Franklin, Marks, Algier hit on all 3 of my flex plays. So good flex play there. Andy, same thing, had a pretty good week with some of his, missed on a couple of them. In general, though, pretty fine. We're getting the rates up there a little bit. I didn't put the percentages in yet for this week, but 23, 14, and 3. Andy's got the DST rate. So take these to me and just bench our kickers. I think that's what I'm learning as well here.
Andy B hit it out of the park last week. So
Andy B killing it. Kicker 5, 13 points. So we probably got a couple more minutes, guys. If you have any comments, we will definitely answer any and all comments you guys have. If not, we'll probably wrap up the show if no one has any more questions. So make sure if you have any last minute advice you need us answered, go ahead and shoot us a comment real quick, because other than that, we're going to head out for the day, and we want to wish you guys good luck on your matchups this week. I know I got a couple I definitely need the win in. I don't know about you, Andy.
Oh, 100%. There's a few that I've basically given up in too. I'm still going to keep setting my roster, but just with the injuries and everything, it's like there's almost no hope left. But, we're still out there. We're still fighting. We're just trying to get some moral victories for the squad.
I definitely have Monongai on like multiple dynasty teams, and since the news dropped right when we started the show, I'm curious, like I need to go in and be like, should I actually play him? I need to look at some of my lineups and be like, which ones should I play him in? Because I'm definitely going to start him in one, I can already tell, but I don't really know. But doesn't look like we have any more questions. So thank you guys for coming to our Friday stream. We're going to do this every Friday. If you are in here and don't want to miss it, make sure to like, subscribe. If you want, you can hit that little notification thing. No pressure if you don't want to. We'll be here on Fridays, and make sure to check out the other videos on the channel, especially if you are into Dynasty content, Andy. But thanks for joining us.
Dude, thanks
for having me. We will catch you guys next week for